Hello students, welcome to M10 classes. In the previous video, we have started the new chapter that is electricity, and we have read the fundamentals of electricity, that are electric charges, electric current, electric potential, and we have seen some the symbols of some electric components which can be used to draw the electric circuits or circuit diagrams. Now in this video we are going to read about Ohm's law, resistance and its properties, and combination of resistances. So let us start today's lecture. Now we are going to start with Ohm's law. Now what is Ohm's law? Ohm's law states that at constant temperature, this is important, at constant temperature, electric current flowing through a metallic wire is directly proportional to the potential difference across its. That means the current flowing through it, that means current I, it is directly proportional to the potential difference V. So here V is directly proportional to I, where V is the potential difference and I is the current. So which will give you V by I is a constant, that is your R. Now what is R here? R is resistance. So finally it will give you the formula V equals to IR. This is the formula for Ohm's law. Okay, this is very important. Now in your question, in your exams, it is regularly being asked to draw the VI graph for a metallic conductor. Now in case of the VI graph, you take current I in the x-axis and potential difference V in the y-axis. Now this graph of this VI graph will be a straight line passing through the center, passing through the origin. Now this is the graph, as you can see. Now what would be the slope? First of all, let us know what is slope. Slope in the general sense means change in y divided by change in x, if you are going to find out the slope for any straight line. Now in your y-axis you are getting V, so this is the change in your potential difference, that is change in y. Now in x-axis you have current, so this is the change in current, so it will give you the change in voltage divided by change in current, that is V divided by I, which is nothing but your R, resistance. The slope of the VI graph is your resistance R. Now let us see what is resistance. Resistance literally means to oppose. Now suppose I'll say dams provide resistance to the flow of the water in the river. That means dams provides the resistance for the flow of the water through the river. So here in electricity, what does resistance do? Resistance opposes the flow of current. Now resistance is the property of a material to oppose the flow of current within it, and its SI unit is ohm. It is represented by the Greek letter, this one, ohm. Now from the Ohm's law, V equals to IR, I can say that I equals to V divided by R. That means your current is inversely proportional to the resistance. Now what do you mean by inversely proportional? That means if one quantity will increase, other will decrease. So you can say that if the resistance will increase, that will block the flow of the current, that means the current will decrease. And if resistance will decrease, obviously current is going to increase. I can see here. Now how to remember this formula, let us see. Now students, see here I have drawn a triangle. On the upper part you have V, on the lower part you have current and your resistance. Now you can say that V equals to I into R. I would be equals to V by R, and R will be equals to V by I. So you can remember this triangle easily, and you can write the formula also. Again, V equals to IR, this is the Ohm's law. I equals to V divided by R, and R equals to V divided by I. Now on the basis of resistances, The materials can be categorized into three parts. One is metals, metalloids, and insulators. Now, metals are good conductors of electricity. That means they provide less resistance. So the resistance of the metals is very less. Next comes metalloid, which provide appreciable resistance. And insulators, as you know, insulators are bad conductors of electricity. That means they provide high resistance. Now students, see here, this is the Ohm's law, that is V equals to IR. This is the formula. Now I have taken a resistance and taken some voltage source. Now let us see the dependence of current, voltage and resistance. First of all, as per the Ohm's law, current is directly proportional to the potential difference. Now see here, I am going to increase and decrease the voltage source. Now see here, I am gradually increasing the voltage source. Now you can see that along with this, current is increasing. Now again let us see here, V is directly proportional to I. I am increasing the voltage level, and see here you can see the current is also increasing. And if I am decreasing the voltage source, then the current is also decreasing. So which shows that the V is directly proportional to I. Now let us vary the resistance. Now current is inversely proportional to resistance. If the resistance will increase, the current will decrease, and if the resistance will decrease, current will increase. So let us first increase the resistance. Now see here, if I am increasing the resistance, the current is gradually decreasing. And let me decrease it. If I am decreasing the resistance, the current is increasing. That means, which shows that current is inversely proportional to resistance. Now let us see rheostat. Rheostat is a device which is used to vary the current without changing the voltage source. Sorry, it has been hidden, but listen to this. Rheostat is a device which is used to vary current without changing the voltage source. That means the voltage will remain constant. Now consider your fan at your home. Now the supply to your home is constant. Let's say 220 volt. Now, whenever you are using the regulator, it may increase the speed of the fan and decrease the speed of the fan, but the voltage always remains constant. Now, what is the significance of this regulator? A regulator is used to vary the resistance. By using the regulator, when the resistance will increase, that means obviously current will decrease, so the speed of the fan will gradually decrease. Similarly, by using the regulator, if you are going to decrease the resistance, the current will increase and the fan will move faster, but at the same time the potential difference is always remains constant. Now this is the significance of rheostat. Now resistors are important parts of electric circuits. If you take out any electric circuit board, you'll find the resistances or resistors on it. Now you will see that they have different color codes on it. Now see here, I have shown in the figure, it has color code of brown, black, red, and there is a golden color on it. So what is the significance of these color codes? These color codes are used to determine the resistance of a resistor. Now there might be, you can see here, it is 4 colors here, 4 color bands here, there might be 5 color bands, there might be 6 color bands. Now let us discuss how to determine these resistances. Now you may find these color codes in class 12 maybe. Now how to remember this? B.B. Roy, Great Britain, very good wife. Oh, we are not going to read about any B.B. Roy, any personality. It is just to remember the sequence of the color codes. B.B. Roy, then Great Britain, very good wife. You have to remember the capital letters I have shown here. So it will give you B.B. Roy. From Great Britain you'll get G and B. Very good wife, you'll get V, G, W. Now see here, First B stands for black, next B stands for brown, then red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, grey and white. Now these are sequentially kept and the numbers will start from 0 and it will end with 9 at white. So 0 to 9 the numbers are given. Next gold, silver and none. So this is plus minus 5%, plus minus 10% and plus minus 20%. What are these? These are tolerance. Now see, these registers are manufactured. So they might not give you the exact value that is your 10%, that is your 100 ohm, 500 ohm, 1 kilo ohm like this. So there will be a little difference of the resistance and that is called your tolerance. So if it is gold, it would be the tolerance would be plus minus 5%. It may increase by 5% or may decrease by 5%, but within the value will be within this only. Now see here how to determine the value. Now here I have shown you four color bands A, B, C and D, and how to determine it. A, B, C. From A, B, C, I'll write it A, B, the first two digits, into 10 to the power C, so third color band, plus minus D%, it is the tolerance. Now let us see some example how to calculate the resistance of the resistors. So students, remember this is just for a fact that to let you know the fact, otherwise it is beyond the scope of your syllabus. So as you can see the resistors in the circuit board, so you may find it interesting to calculate the resistance of the resistors. Now see here the first figure. In the first figure you have brown, black, red, and as I cannot draw golden color, so I have used here a little yellowish color. Now see here, first of all it's your black, so black sorry, it is brown, so brown gives you the number 1, then black gives you the number 0, so it will get 10. I have told you it is A B into 10 to the power C. So what would be C here? It is red. Red means 2. So it will give you 10 square. Plus minus it would be 5%. So it is golden color. So it will give you 5%. Now it will get 100 ohm plus minus 5%. It will be a minus here. Now this 100 ohm is nothing but 1 kilo ohm. So the resistance of this resistor is 1 kilo ohm. Okay, and this is plus minus 5%. Now how can you verify it? Now there are multimeters which are used to find the resistances. So it has a slot. Multimeter means it can measure current, voltage as well as your resistances of the resistors. So you can use to find out the resistances by using, you can get the accurate value of the resistances by using this. Next comes next see the example. It has yellow color, blue color, red color, then no color. Now see here, yellow means it will give you 4, for blue it will give you, sorry, it is violet, it will give you 7, then red will give you 2. So it will be 47 into 10 to the power 2 plus minus, as it is none, so it is plus minus 20%. It will give you 4700 into 20%, and that is 4.7 k, 4.7 kilo ohm plus minus 20%. Okay, now this is how to calculate the resistances of a resistor. Now, what are the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends? Now, this is very important. You have to remember the formula as well as the factors on which it depends. So, resistance of a conductor depends upon three things: length of the conductor, area of the cross section, and the nature of the material. So, how are they related? Let us consider the length. Resistance is directly proportional to the length. What does that mean? That means if the length is increased, that the resistance will also increase. Resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. That means if the area of cross section will increase, then the resistance will decrease. and if the area of cross section will increase, it will decrease, then the resistance will increase. Now let us consider a water pipe and water is flowing through it. Now you take a thin pipe. Now in this thin pipe the area of cross section is less. Now the flow of water through it will also be less. That means if the area of cross section is less, then the flow of current will be less. That means the resistance is more. Similarly, if you take a thicker pipe, that means the amount of water flowing through will be more because the area of cross section is more. Similarly, in case of the conductor, if the area of cross section will increase, the amount of current flowing through it will also increase. That means the resistance will decrease. Now this will give the formula R equals to rho L by A. What is rho? Rho stands for resistivity. Now we'll discuss about resistivity, and this SI unit is ohm meter. Okay. Now in Ohm's law we have read at constant temperature potential difference is directly proportional to current. Now why it is written at constant temperature? Is that any relation of temperature with resistance? And yes, there is the dependence of resistance on temperature. When the temperature will increase, the resistance of the conductor will also increase. So you can say that there is a fourth factor on which the resistance of a conductor depends, that is your temperature. So what will be the four factors on which it will depend? Length of the conductor, area of cross section, the nature of a material, and the fourth one is temperature. Next, find the SI unit of resistivity. Students, whenever you are asked to find the SI unit of something, so you have to find out the formula associated with it. Now, resistivity is associated with resistance, so we'll take the formula of the resistance, that is R equals to rho L by A. Now it will give you rho equals to RA by L. See here. To find the SI unit of resistivity, put the SI units of this R, A and L. R is resistance, so SI unit is ohm. Area, the SI unit of area is meter square. Next, for length, the SI unit is meter. So here it will be cancelled out, it will give you rho meter. This is the SI unit of resistivity. Now silver has the least resistivity, so obviously it is the best conductor. But students, whenever you'll see the electric wires at your home, it is made up of copper. If silver is the best conductor, why are we going to use it in case of this electric wires? So as you know, silver is quite expensive and it is not easily available, and on the other side copper is very cheap and readily available, and that is why copper is used for making the electric wire. Now where is the silver used? The students, you'll read, either you might have read it or you'll read it in the chapter sources of energy, that in solar panels silver is used as interconnects to join the solar cells. It is because silver is the best conductor of electricity, and that is why it is used as the interconnect in the solar cells. Now a question for you. Alloy are used for making the coils of electrical heating devices. Now suppose you consider your electric heater. In your electric heater, the coil that is used is made up of nichrome, that is an alloy. So why are you not going to make it of a metal? Now there are two reasons for it. First of all, alloys provide appreciable resistance for which the heat produced will be more. We are going to discuss it in the heating effect of electric current. Second part, which is also important, that means it doesn't get oxidized easily. Metals when get heated, they readily react with oxygen and they form oxides, and that damages the metal. but alloys do not get oxidized even at high temperature also, and that is why alloys are used for making the coils of electrical heating devices. This is an important question. Now we'll go for the combination of resistances. Resistances might be kept in series or be in parallel. Okay. Now these are important questions, and the derivation of the total equivalent resistance from series connection and parallel connections, maybe of 3 mark question that usually comes in the exams. Now let us see. Resistors in series. In series connection, current remains constant and the potential difference varies according to the individual resistance. Now it is important. Now what is series connection? Now suppose I will draw some resistances here. Okay. Resistors do not have any positive end or negative end, so it can be connected on either ways. So just for to let you know how to find out the series connection and parallel connection, now let us say let's say it has a fish. So fish has head and tail, mundo and lanja. Now if it is in the form of mundo lanja, mundo lanja, mundo lanja, then it is called in series. Now suppose this is head, this is tail, head, tail, now head, tail. Now, if the flow of current through this, the first one to encounter is your head. So, if it is in the form of head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, then it is in series. Now, see the derivation. Let's say three resistances R1, R2, and R3 are connected in series as shown in the figure here. Now, voltage source provides V, this is positive, this is negative. Now, the current flowing through is I, which is constant, and V1, V2 and V3 are 3 voltmeters which are used to determine the potential difference across R1, R2 and R3. So by using Ohm's law, you can say that V1 equals to I into R1 as the current remains same. So V2 equals to I into R2, V3 equals to I into R3, and let us consider the total equivalent series resistance is Rs. So V equals to I Rs. Now in this total circuit, the potential difference, the potential source V, it is divided in V1, V2 and V3. So you can write it as V equals to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Now put the values over here. So IRS equals to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. Now what is common here? I, that is current, is common. If we take it out and cancel it, you will get this RS equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Now suppose let's say n number of resistances are there. That would be R1 plus R2 plus R3. It will just simply be the sum of all the resistances. Now let's say there are n number of resistors with resistance R are connected. So what will you get? Rs equals to R plus R plus R plus R, that is n times, and that will give you Rs equals to n into R. If I will tell you, let's say 100 number of 2 ohm resistances are connected in series. So what is n here? 100 numbers, that is 100. What is the value of the resistor? That is 2 ohm. So what will be the total resistance? It's simply the multiplication. 100 into 2 will get 200. Now there is an important fact related to the series connection, that in series connection the total equivalent resistance Rs is greater than the individual, I have not written, is greater than each individual resistance. Now let us see an example for this. So first of all, take three resistances 5 ohm, 3 ohm and 4 ohm are connected in series. It is given to find out I. So first of all, I have to find the total equivalent resistance, and I can tell you here current comes from here. So this will be mundo lanja, mundo lanja, mundo lanja, they are all in series. So first of all, find the total resistance. It will simply be the sum of 5, 3 and 4. That will give you 12 ohm. Now you can see here this 12 ohm is greater than 5 ohm from 3 ohm as well as 4 ohm. So the total equivalent resistance in series is greater than each individual resistance. Okay, we have to find I. So here you have the voltage source, that is V equals to 6. Now remember, by Ohm's law, V equals to IR. You have got R, you have got V. So put it in the formula, I equals to V by RS. You'll get 0.5 ampere. Now in later sections, in later videos, we are going to discuss more about this numericals. And now registers in parallel. So as I have told you that in case of resistance in series, it is munda lanja, munda lanja, munda lanja. So what would be in parallel? When all the mundas are at one end and all the lanjas are at one end. This is called parallel connection. Now suppose I am going to draw something here. I am going to draw two registers here. Now let's say this is munda, this is lanja, this is munda, this is lanja, or head tail like this. Now this head, both the heads, this is head, both the heads are connected at one end and the other two ends, that is lanja or your tail, is connected at one end. So when you see the connections like this, that is two heads are connected at one end, other tails are connected at one end, so these are called your parallel connection. Now let us see here resistors in parallel connection. So let us what is the important fact about this resistances in parallel, that in parallel connection the potential difference remains same. It is very important, and the current varies according to the value of the resistances. Now let us consider three resistors R1, R2 and R3 are connected in parallel as shown in the figure. The current will vary. Now see here, the current is divided into three parts: I1, I2 and I3. Now what is the voltage source? That is your V. So by using Ohm's law, I can get I1 equals to V divided by R1, I2 equals to V by R2 and I3 equals to V by R3, as potential difference is constant. Now let's say Rp is the total resistance in total equivalent resistance in parallel. So you'll get I equals to V by Rp. Now as this current I is divided into three parts, I1, I2 and I3, I can write it as I equals to I2, I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now put the values. V by Rp equals to V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. And if you take out V as common, you'll get finally the answer, that is I, and that is 1 by Rp equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. Now if there would be n number of resistances having the R as resistance, they have equal resistances. So what will you get? 1 by Rp equals to 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R n times. That is 1 by Rp equals to n by R. And you have to find Rp. So take the reciprocal, you will get Rp equals to R divided by n. Now let us consider this example. Now see here. Find the total resistance when 5 10 ohm resistors are in parallel. So you'll see that N is 5 and R is 10. So what will be Rp? It is R by N, that is equals to 2 ohm. Now let us see, this is very important, the total equivalent resistance in parallel is less than each individual resistance. Now this is very important. In case of series, your resistances increase as simply they add up. But in case of parallel, the total resistance is decreasing. It is less than each individual resistance. Now let us see an example. Now I have taken here 6 ohm, 3 ohm and 2 ohm. These are in parallel. Let us find the resistance in parallel. Put the formula 1 by Rp equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. You are getting 1 by Rp equals to 1. What is Rp? Equivalent resistance in parallel, that is 1 ohm. Now let us compare. Now this 1 ohm is less than 6 ohm, 3 ohm as well as 2 ohm. That means the total equivalent resistance in parallel is less than each individual resistance, and that is why in case of parallel connection the total resistance decreases. Now this is very important to remember. Now students, let us see the advantages of parallel connection over series connection. Now in your home, the appliances, they are connected in parallel. Why are they not connected in series? Now let us discuss the points. First point, appliances in parallel connection get equal voltage and can work properly by drawing appropriate current. So every individual appliance has a different current values, current ratings. That means they draw different amount of current. So when in parallel connection, all the appliances are getting appropriate voltage. That means the voltage remains same. So they get appropriate voltage. That means they can draw appropriate current for them. So they work properly. It's quite simple. Next, appliances of different current rating cannot be connected in parallel, can be connected in parallel but not in series. Why is it so? What do you mean by current rating? That means if the current will be more than that, then what happens? The appliances get damaged. So usually you might have seen that the TV or fans, they get damaged during lightning. It is because very high current passes through it. Now, suppose a bulb, it has a rated current at 1 ampere, let's say. Now, if I'll pass 2 ampere current through it, what will happen? It will simply get damaged. Now, suppose in series, I have a heater. Now, let's say in a circuit, I have a heater, a bulb, let's say your mobile charger. Okay. Now, they are all connected in series. Now, the current rating of a heater is, let's say, 2 ampere. For a bulb, let's say it is 0.5 ampere, and for the mobile charger, it's, let's say, 0.25 ampere. Now whenever they will be connected to a voltage source, the heater, as it has 2 ampere current rating, it will try to draw 2 ampere current. Now when 2 ampere current will be drawn, when it will pass through this bulb and this mobile charger, they will get damaged. That is why the appliances of different current rating cannot be connected in parallel. Can be connected in parallel but not in series. In series connection, they will get damaged. Let us come to the third point. In series, if one component or appliances will be damaged, then the total circuit will be off. But in case of parallel connection, appliances can work independently. Now again, let us take another example. I will take 3 bulbs, they are in series. Now suppose this middle bulb will be damaged. That means the circuit will be incomplete because the current will not flow through this bulb, and so the total circuit will be off. Even though other bulbs are okay, they can work properly, as in series connection at one point the circuit will be broken, the total circuit will be off. Now consider in your home, let's say you have 5 bulbs in 5 rooms. If one bulb get damaged at one room, do the other bulbs do not work? They do work properly, so they can work independently. So which doesn't happen in case of series connection. Fourth one, troubleshooting is easier in parallel and is difficult in series connection. So again, take the same example. You have 5 bulbs in 5 rooms at your home. Suppose one of the bulb will get damaged. It is not going to affect other bulbs, and simply you can replace the bulb which is damaged because you will be able to know easily. So troubleshooting is easier. But what happens in case of series connection? Now you see the fancy light that it contains the LED bulb in series, and they are very long also. They are used to decorate at your homes during occasions. Now let's say consider these electric bulbs. There are number of bulbs, let's say 50 or 100 like this. As I have told you, in series connection, if one component will be damaged, the total circuit will be off. Now think about repairing it. Now if the total circuit will be off, you'll not be able to know which bulb is broken or which bulb is damaged. So you have to check one by one. You have to check each bulb whether it is damaged or not. and that is why the troubleshooting is very much difficult in case of series connection. So students, these are some basics about Ohm's law, resistances and combination of resistances. I have some homeworks for you. You might not find it interesting, but these are very conceptual questions. So please do it at home. If you have any problems, I will discuss it in the next class. In the next class, the total lecture will be on numericals related to whatever you have already read. So do it at your home. See the questions. There are only 5 questions. Go through it at your home. And if you find any difficulties, I am going to solve it or tell you the answers in the next class. So students, like, share and subscribe. For the new viewers, just subscribe it, get latest videos, because I am going to complete all the chapters one by one. So if I am taking this chapter electricity, first of all I'll complete all the portions of electricity, then I'll move on to the next chapter. So keep in touch students, like, share and subscribe, and let us meet in the next video. Thank you.